Om Sai Ram. Sai Leela episode 26. Experiences of Babu Rao N. Chandorkar, son of Nana Sahib Chandorkar, as narrated by him to Sri B.V. Narasimha Swamiji on the 16th September 1936. Babu Rao N. Chandorkar is the son of Sai Mahabhakt, late Sri Nana Sahib Chandorkar. He narrated his experience with Sri Sai Baba to Sri B.V. Narasimha Swamiji on the 16th September 1936 in his own words as below. I was taken as a little boy to Sai Baba by my father. Malsapati worshipped Baba, applying sandal to feet and head of Baba. None applied sandal paste to Baba's forehead. I was the first who, as a child of 4, innocently applied it to his forehead, just as we apply it to all the gods we worship. After that time, others were allowed to do so. This was in the year 1900. My father told me that Baba explained the Gita to him in 1900 in the style of ordinary learned Pandits' expressions, and without the use of mystifying parables or symbology. After 1902, Baba began to use mystifying parables or symbology. Then my father went on transfer to Jamner. My father said Baba knew Sanskrit and he had explained the stanza very well. My father told me that Baba had Advaitam, but with Advaitic idea he explained or put forward was not stated to me. We were all concerned with Baba's chamatkars, prophecy, moral talks, etc., and we did not mind about his philosophy at all. My father said that after 1913 the crowd that flocked to Baba were too heavy and there was no peace for Baba. Baba once said with tears, "No one cares to take from me what I am prepared to give abundantly, but they want from me what I am unable to give." Baba once told my father about chamatkar, something very interestingly. It was about 1903 or 1904. My elder sister Meena Tai had been helped at delivery by Baba with Udi. The child, however, died very young. My sister also was widowed at that very early age and had no other issues. This cast a gloom over us. My father and all of us went to Shirdi. My father went and sat before Baba, gloomed in swollen silence. Usually, whenever we went, Baba would question him and he would talk and all would be cheerful. Now, on this occasion, there was a sad swelling beginning. This continued for some minutes, then Baba broke the ice. Baba said, "Why are you so silent?" Chandorkar said, "Baba, you know everything. While we are under your care, these calamities have befallen us. We have lost the child and my son-in-law." Baba said, "If you care for the child or your son-in-law and come to me for that, you have mistaken. You need not come to me for these. These are not in my power. These are dependent on Purva Karma. Even the Parameshwar, great God who created the world, cannot alter these. Do you think that he can tell the sun or the moon to rise 2 yards further away from the usual or appointed place? No, he cannot and will not do that. That would produce disorder and chaos." Chandorkar: "If that is so, how is it that you tell someone you will have a son and he gets a son, and you tell another you will get an appointment and he gets it? Are these not chamatkars of yours?" Baba said, "No, Nana, I do not do any chamatkars. You have your village astrologer. They work 2 or 4 days ahead and give out their predictions. Some of them come true. I look further ahead. What I say happens. My aunt also is a sort of astrology, but you people do not understand this. To you, my word looks like chamatkar because you do not know the future. So you regard events as proofs of my miracle work power, and you turn to your relevance on to me. I, in my turn, turn your relevance on to the God and see that you are really benefited. Baba spoke numerous ghostis, but I do not remember them now. In 1913 or 1914, my father was unwell and on long leave, so he went and stayed in Shirdi. My mother also was there, and when they were by Baba's side and I was worshipping him, Baba said and moved his hand like a shanky neck of an old man, I will go away now. I will take birth as the child of Bapu. At that time, Nana's head was shaking thus and thus. My father construed this to mean that he would not die till a son was born to me. Unfortunately, he died in 1912. During the fatal illness, I remembered this prophecy and hoped that my father would survive, as I had not even got married and had no son, of course. But fate willed it otherwise, and my father died in 1921 and I got married in 1922. My father's head never sank. All mantras that Baba spoke and recited were Arabic or Persian and not Sanskrit so far as I know. Kondaji and Baba recited Fatihas. When Shera was placed on the Kaaba when bought by people, Baba and Kondaji placed it repeating something in Arabic, Persian or some such language. My father never said that Baba spoke of Mahakavyas, but it was about 1908. My father was working in Pandharpur when we went to Shirdi. Baba had asked him to prepare Naivedya that was offered to Baba. My father asked Baba to go down to his quarter to eat. Baba said, "Go, I will come." My father knew that Baba was not intending to come in his physical body and so returned disappointed. Madhavrao Deshpande was present at the talk with Baba. Baba told him after my father left the mosque in that mood, "Tell Nana that he has been so long with me and yet not grasped the fact that Baba is in every ant and every fly." Baba said he was in all creatures. That is the highest truth. I have heard from him, directly or indirectly. I do not remember of any pathetic utterance came from him. I have not heard if he spoke long sermons on Vedantic lines. He generally spoke on common matters. Give alms, do good, speak the truth. He told me when I was a boy, hearkening to the words of your parents. Help your mother in her task. Speak the truth and truth alone. Never a word did he talk about any mantras or about God. I have firm faith him as my protector. All my life is supported and maintained by him. I cannot give instance, but I feel that he is guiding me and guarding me and protecting my interest and looking after my welfare. The second Leela. Experience of Balakrishna Govind Upasani Sastri. Sri Balakrishna Govind Upasani Sastri was a son of Sri Govinda Gopal Upasani Sastri. He was a Brahmin, aged 69. He was a retired professor of Sanskrit and stayed in Shaniwarpet, Pune. He has narrated his experience with Sri Sai Baba to Sri B.V. Narasimha Swamiji on the 26th July 1936 in his own words as below. When plague was rising in Pune, my college was closed for many long months, and then I went on a pilgrimage with my mother and my wife. When I went from Haridwar and Rishikesh to Tapovan, there I met a sadhu who glared at me. At least he was persistently looking at me. I bowed to him and he still looked at me and asked me, "Are you not from Satna?" "Yes," I answered, "for Satna is my ancestral village." Then I, in my turn, inquired him who he was. "Come here again tomorrow at this time and I will let you know, he said. I then went to my quarters and informed my mother. She thought that this might be our mutt founder, Sri Udbhav of Mayurpuri. Next day, she wanted to come and see the saint and she accompanied me to the appointed place at the time fixed. After 15 minutes of wandering up and down, she thought it was a wild goose chase to find a wandering saint and went away. Almost immediately after she left, that saint appeared before me and said with grave countenance, "Do not act in this manner again." I said, "In what manner?" He said, "Only those directed to come should come. There is always difference between one individual and another, alike in physical and other peculiarities. No two are exactly the same, so only the bidden person should come." I agreed to obey that rule. Then, as I wanted to know his identity, he informed me that I had a saligram among the gods that I worshipped at home, and he gave me an exact description of it. I said that I had a saligram. Then he added that he was the person who gave it to Udhav Maharaj, from whose grandson my grandfather had got it. It has been an heirloom with us, and I am still worshipping it. Still, as his identity was not clear, he thus replied to me, talking this time in Hindustani. Till then, he was talking in Marathi. He waved his hand so as to attract my attention and said, "Lo, there was a tree. Two persons went up the tree. One came down, the other went up." He wound up with the remark, "You will come to know." And then he disappeared. He looked like a man of 50 or 60, rather bulky and stout. He just wore a kopna and no other articles of dress. Many years later, say about 1910 to 1911, I was trying to utilize my Christmas holidays for a trip from Dhulia southwards to see if any trace could be found of my younger brother Kashinath, that is Upasani Baba. He contracted some strange disease in the course of his effort at pranayama. He could not lie down, lest breathing should stop. He had no sleep, nor good digestion, so he left home and we had to trace of his whereabouts. As I was in a train from Manmad going south, I stopped at Kupagaon for a few minutes, and the local Malmattar, Mr. Bhatt, a friend of mine who was on the platform, made me alight and spend a pleasant day with him. He told me that Sai Baba was a saint living 9 miles at Shirdi and worth a visit. He sent me a tonga to that village. I went to the mosque and found Sai Baba at the dhuni in the mosque. He was standing close to the fire and occasionally turning around himself. He saw me and invited me inside. I went and prostrated myself before him. Gazing at me, he told me to go to Khandhoba temple. I thought he recommended that visit to see the image of the god, and I said that all gods were there with him and was quite content to see him. He repeated the words, "Go to Khandhoba temple." I inferred that he wanted me to get away and not to stay there. So I went to an adjoining house, and there they told me that there was one Upasani Shastri at Khandhoba temple. I then went to Khandhoba temple and found my brother there. He said that he was remaining there by Sai Baba's order and that he saw a very little of Sai Baba. I then gave him, or rather one Dada Khelkar, on his account some ₹4 for his food, and went back to the masjid. I stayed at Shirdi for 1 or 2 days at that time. On the first day, he asked all generally for dakshina, and some gave. He extended his arms towards me and asked for dakshina. I said I had nothing and made pranams. On the occasion, Sai Baba said to me the same words as the sadhu at Tapovan. Lo, there was a tree. 2 persons went up that tree, and one came down, and the other went up, in Hindustani. I was at once reminded of Tapovan saint, whose person closely resembled Sai Baba's. Though the dress was different, Sai Baba mentioned some autobiographical remnants of his own. He said he had been at the battle in which Rani of Jhansi took part. He was then in the army. On the second day, he asked me again Dakshina. I excused myself on the ground that I had barely railway fare for my journey with me. Then he pointed a silver watch I had in my pocket and asked it for Dakshina. I gave it, but not without a momentary regret or hesitation. He received it and handed it over to some fakir by his side. Then, looking at me and evidently to meet my momentary regret at losing the watch, Baba said to me, "You are not going to be worse off." I said, "Of course, it is nothing I had given." Then I started back and via Kupargaon came to Pune. Then I went to a friend, Mr. Nathu's house. I was talking of my Shirdi watch incident and inquired what would be the cost to get a similar watch. Just then, my friend's brother sent down his gold watch worth about rupees 60 and wanted me to accept it as a present. I accepted it, so I was not worse off parting with my watch to Sai Baba. I visited Shirdi on one or two occasions. On those occasions, I composed Sanskrit poems on Sai Baba. This brings us to the end of Sai Leela part 26. Om Sai Ram.